Good morning, dear listeners. Today we start a new episode of the Age Ontology podcast series based on my book, Age Ontology, and the book, The Seven Laws of Reality. So today we introduce the topic of the unpredictability of rebirth. So it's another important implication of rebirth, which is its unpredictability. So according to some spiritual teachings, one follows a kind of an evolutionary process from the most rudimentary to most advanced type of consciousness to finally awaken to an enlightened state. But actually, a rebirth might not be such a linear and straightforward kind of evolutionary process from lower to higher. So, for example, in the Buddhist teachings, it makes very clear that a human birth is an extremely rare event, which is brought about by many different causes and conditions, propelled by the subtle energy of virtuous, habitual tendencies stored in the ground consciousness that we already spoken about before. So this view is much more logical, since during one's life one can create and accumulate many virtuous or non-virtuous intentions, tendencies, physical, direct or indirect actions, and this would definitely ripen in a birth of a sentient being which experiences a low or high level of suffering, and one could still be born in a very rudimentary mind-body type of living being with a very limited perception of reality. So this all depends on many factors, like the quality of the emotions experienced at the time of death, which is very important, the strength of the emotional tendencies accumulated during infinite lives, but especially in the last life, and the actions that have actually been committed, and above all, the intentions behind each of these actions. So all these factors make the life of a human being a very precious event, possessing the potentiality and the possibility to accumulate great virtues, which will result in positive and somewhat more joyful rebirths, or even awakening within the timeless mind of pure being, or otherwise it can also result in a great deal of non-virtuous actions, which will ripen into multiple births of great and immense suffering. So it's all down to the responsibility of the human to direct one's own next rebirth. And this it's not an evolutionary mass experience, although there is the collective karma at play, which propels the whole world into some sort of suffering or non-suffering. But on an individual level, the options are much more open, and one can even wake up to the timelessness of all phenomena within one's own human body. So one's own responsibilities is great. Okay, so this is just a brief introduction. More information in the books, and thank you for listening.